let's start for all the audiences or people are joining right now. So everybody, okay, hi, this is Devendra Gupta, and here with me right now are two of the veterans of the you know uh, small fashion business or small business uh, you know industry. So I would like to introduce to you with Amber Fullerton. She's Chief Customer Officer at One World Direct, and it's a order fulfillment company. And the other guest speaker, the experienced guest speaker with us, is DeAnna McIntosh, and she is Chief Global Strategist at the Affinity Group International and Retailing Evolved. So these two right now, this for the viewers, I'm talking that this is the great opportunity because the panelists over here are experienced. They have an experience of over a decade. So first of all, I would just invite them to introduce themselves and tell us about what they actually do and how they go about it. So first of all, I would like to ask DeAnna to introduce herself and just tell audiences uh, about yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm DeAnna McIntosh, Chief Global Strategist at the Affinity Group International and Retailing Evolved. And so basically what we do are train small and medium-sized fashion businesses how to run their retail business using merchandising strategies that Fortune-ranked companies utilize. And that's utilizing my over 13 years of experience in working with them. And so we empower you to drive your business using those same sales strategies, merchandising strategies, supply chain strategies. And so to really think at your business at a higher level to drive sales.
Okay, oh, that's great. Actually, yeah, that's uh, you know a great work experience that you have. So, Amber, just you can you
Sure.
explain your
Yes, of course. Of course.
yeah.
We're a third-party fulfillment company. We have 3 locations in the United States, which allows us to hit 99% of the population within 2 days for ground shipping. And as you know, that's so important right now in our world of commerce. And we've been in business for 25 years. We support startups all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. And we don't have a specific vertical, but we do have several clients in the fashion industry. And we've built a lot of automation around fashion and apparel specifically that's allowed us to support high volume clients. And we work with clients that sell directly to consumers on marketplaces, drop shipping, as well as wholesale and EDI support.
Wow, that's great. And you talked about automation. You
Mhm.
created a lot of automation. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that we will be discussing or we will be focusing more today because as the world is growing and it is a need of the hour, even for the small fashion retailers, I guess. So let's start with the topics or the grinding of the knowledge. So the first question that I would want to ask to Amber is, like, as you told that you are an order fulfillment company. Okay, you help small retailers of fashion business to fulfill their order seamlessly. So first of all, I want to go back and first question that I want to ask is that about returns. I want to ask about returns because you know right now this is the age where return is one of the major problems that small fashion retailers actually uh, go through because the returns are tough and they can sometimes hit business hard. So how to create so can you just explain how to create a customer friendly return process? Because if I know return is not good for the business, but if the customer friendly, if the process is seamless, then at least the customer is happy with that. And how to also, ignore or avoid returns. Can you just explain us?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I think that it's most important to start with a return policy that really correlates well with both your volume of returns as well as your unit and order margins. So for example, if you are a high-end retailer that is selling dresses worth $2,000, you don't want to have a really complicated and labor-intensive return process for your customers because you have high margins. And even though you may have a higher return rate, high margins, it's not going to cost you as much as a fashion retailer with a really low margin on a per order or unit basis. So really like try to correlate what your margins look like and what your unit of returns looks like with your return policy. So I have seen some of my clients, their objective is to make returns difficult. Like they don't want returns. And in some cases, it costs the retailer more money to get that $10 or $15 product back than it's worth, right? Because they have to pay for the outbound shipping, which is anywhere between, let's be honest, $10 or $20, depending upon the weight of the package. They have to pay for the return shipping, which is the same amount or on the way back. But if it's an international, then it's even more expensive. And then they have to pay to process and restock that return. And so I have some clients who really want to make it difficult. And those are the clients that have, fast fashion, really low margin, high volume. And then I have customers who really want to streamline it and make it as simple as possible. And in those cases, they will sometimes use a third party like Return or Return Loops, or they'll just include. Yes, can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I'm not able to hear you. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Just go on. Yeah.
Some clients will include a return label in every package to really streamline the process and make it as simple as possible. So I think there's not one good answer for fashion. I think it really depends upon your business. Can you hear me, DeAnna?
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
So actually there's a small glitch from here, but as far as I can understand right now, so there are different type of, retailers who some wants to make this process simple, but some don't want that. Or wants to make it tough. Okay, so one thing that I want to ask is how we can reduce it. Like if I'm a small fashion retailer and if I'm, how can I reduce returns? Because there are fashion retailers who are facing this problem, So with proper inventory management or, or speeding up the fulfillment process, how can we do that?
So a couple of things come to mind immediately. Inventory management is one of them, right? So like if you're not properly managing your inventory and there's a delay in the customer getting their product, there is an increased chance that they'll return it. They probably found what they needed somewhere else. And then the second part of that is just being very clear in your descriptions of the products to make sure that you have size charts, that there's enough detail in all of the descriptions, and you're including customer reviews to make sure that the customer's purchasing, they're getting what they think they're purchasing the first time.
Okay. And one thing that is again one thing related to this question only, that reducing returns is important, but at the same time the entire process of return is of course it's difficult, to segregate the resellable products and segregate the non-resellable products. So how can we simplify that? Like do we have a system like that, or we can have those systems integrated with the inventory management system so that we can just bring in the return products, and then we can, if the return product is scanned and if it is it's a resellable product, so how can it just automatically add to the inventory list?
Right.
So So
yeah,
how to go about it? It's a bit detailed question. So
yeah, ultimately having an inventory management system that can identify the difference between something that has been returned for and for what reason. So taking the data on the returns and being able to use that to figure out how to better manage returns or even just your whole business process in the future. So if you look at your returns and you can break it down by, this was the wrong item, or it didn't fit like it was supposed to, or there's a hole in it, or whatever those dispositions are, having an inventory management system and a reporting system that can help with putting the inventory that's damaged, that is not resellable, into being able to allocate that and take that out of available inventory versus restocking and putting something back into stock, but also taking that information and making smart business decisions based upon why your products are being returned.
Okay, that's a good answer. And one more question before I move to DeAnna. So, is denying cash on delivery a good strategy to reduce returns? Like not giving the option of cash on delivery, COD.
CODs are pretty outdated. In fact, I think I've only worked with one client who still offers COD as an option, and it gets pretty complicated and it's risky for the retailer.
Okay, so that was very much informative, and to all the audiences or the viewers who are listening to it, these things that the Amber told you, it has actually it can benefit you to increase the money or the amount of money that you save on unnecessary investments, because there are processes in returns, and there are processes or the mundane processes, okay, that actually cost you extra time and eventually harm your business and reputation. Now, moving forward to DeAnna.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as I want to ask you one thing, that how can we see trends happening in the inventory on a real-time basis, and how can we know that which product gets sold on what time, and how can this help small fashion business increase their profit or upselling? How can a real-time inventory visibility help a small fashion retailer to upsell their product?
Mm-hmm. So one thing that is, if you talk to anyone who works at any of the large retailers or brands, if you ask them their biggest pain point, but also one of the most important things is attributing your products. And so it's the same thing that Amber was talking about with returns. It all relates back together. Having every single type of detail on your product that's possible. So the sleeve length, the color, the fabric, the length, every single little tiny minute detail that you might not think is important, it's important. Because not only is it important for the customer to see it, it's important for you to be able to use that to break down your sales. So if you see an uptick in sweaters, great, but what kind of sweaters? What length of sweaters? What fabric of sweaters? And being able to drill it down to that type of detail, you'll be able to see specific trends in your business. And so if that specific style and type of sweater is trending, you need to look at your inventory immediately, which goes back to your question of looking at it real time to see how much do you have in stock. Okay, well, maybe you need to place an order with the vendor right now to get that in, because maybe you're going to run out before you're going to basically sell out and not have enough to fulfill for your customers. So being able to see that, and also what's not working, looking at that and being able to react that quickly so that you can figure out the best optimal inventory levels for your business.
Okay, and does real-time inventory, help a sales team or to suggest a different product to a customer who's looking for a product, but that product is not available with us, but we know that the similar kind of product is available with us.
Exactly.
That this real-time inventory visibility can help the sales team to suggest the customer that okay, that product we don't have, but you might look at look at this product because this is similar to that, and it also has more features in it, right?
Exactly. Precisely.
And we can do it on the real-time basis, so it can be an instantaneous decision, and we can avoid losing a sale on out-of-stock products as well.
Exactly.
And one more thing that I want to ask you is that how to change inventory, or how to cope up with the changing fashion trends, because as we know that today in today's world, fashion changes in like months. In some clothes or clothing brands, or some products, not even in months, in days. So how can we cope up? Because there is a businessman who wants to stock that product because it is selling like anything, but still he has that fear in him, that, or in her, that it can go out of stock anytime, or it can go out of fashion, it can go out of fashion anytime, and the inventory will be lying there. So how can we judge the fashion trends, and how can we manage our inventory?
So you really have to look at your business and understand it, and understand your customer, and look at your merchandise mix. And by that, I mean, what percent of your merchandise is considered a basic type of item, and then what percent of your business is trend. And so, for instance, in the home decor industry, trends don't happen as fast as apparel. So maybe 60% of their business might be basic, and then 40% is trend. And then those type of items, you handle the inventory differently. For example, basics should always be in stock. You should never run out. So that could be on a replenishment type program that you speak to your vendor about. So maybe you replenish those basics every 2 weeks or every month, but that's a regular cadence to make sure you never run out. Versus fashion, you really have to look at your sales history to see how a similar item has sold in the past, to be able to judge how much you buy. And sometimes you only buy once. You buy something with the intention of, this is a risk. It's really trendy, not sure how my customers are going to love it, so I'm going to make this a one-time buy, and I'm not going to buy as much as I would an item that I feel a little bit more sure about, but that are still trendy. So it's all about just being really strategic about a basic versus trend, and then what type of investment are you comfortable doing in that specific trend item.
Okay, yeah, so that's actually important to be on your toes and understand what's going on, and taking smart decisions ultimately. So Amber, going back to you, one thing that you told, that shipping, you told shipping is very important, and I'm going with you like backwards from like return, and now we are on shipping. So as you suggested, could you just suggest good websites that can tell us about future fashion trends? Hello?
Yeah, I might defer to DeAnna on that.
And I'll type it in the comments too to make it easier so they can just click it. But one of the sites that I love is called fashionsnoop.com, and I'll type that in there. But basically, they're a trend forecasting website, and to be a member of them, to really get all the reports, it's like $10,000. But you can sign up for their free newsletter, and you'll get I think, like 5 free highlights every week. I think multiple times a week. And then there's trendhunter.com, which shows you trends across every industry, not just fashion. And then obviously the fashion magazines like Vogue, all of those big ones. So I'll type it into the comments for you.
Okay. Thank you. So Amber, going back to you, we were talking about shipping. So is shipping internationally worth it? Like, is it worth it? Should small retailers ship internationally?
Well, I am an advocate of shipping international because it opens up a new market for you, and it's just an opportunity for increased sales and more revenue. However, I would caution anyone starting out to not just flip the switch and turn on international shipping, because there is a lot that you need to know about customs and duties, international ship methods, having harmonized codes and the paperwork that has to be prepared for it. So I would say, yes, it's worth it, but make sure that you do your due diligence. A couple of things that I like to tell all of my clients, first and foremost, if you're going to be shipping internationally, make sure that you have a total landed cost solution calculator in your cart so that your customers can pay the duty and tax as they're checking out. And when the custom and duty paperwork is prepared, at that point, it's prepared DDP, which is delivery duty paid. So your customer gets their order and they don't have to hand any cash over. They don't have to pay whomever is delivering the package. It's a very seamless process. If you don't do that, the likelihood that your customer will accept that package decreases, and it's also more likely that they'll refuse it because of the amount of custom and duty that they have to pay.
Exactly,
so a lot of people, like, I paid $20 for this product and it's $30 in custom and duty fees. Like, I don't want it. And so at that point, the retailer, you're out the cost of the outbound shipping, the return shipping, and sometimes the cost of the product if it gets held at the border, right? And so there's the cost of the product and then restocking if it ultimately gets back to your warehouse. So that's one thing that I always make sure that my customers who are shipping internationally consider before they ever turn that on.
Okay, yeah. So that's actually a good insight. But one thing I want to ask, that if there is a person or there's a business who's shipping internationally, so how will they track their shipments? Because don't you think it would be a bit frustrating tracking the shipments and replying to the customers about the shipments and where the product is when the customer asks them that where's my product? So how will they do that, or how can they track their shipments and ensure that they know where it is?
So tracking varies depending upon what carrier you're using. And so if visibility is important, which I think it is for international shipments, you want to make sure that you're using a carrier that has visibility from the time the shipment leaves your facility to the time it's delivered to the customer. And also having a system that generates a tracking label once the package is shipped.
Okay. Yeah. Can you just Amber? Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Can you just repeat last sentence? I guess there was some disturbance and there was the voice was cracking.
Sure. What I said was that it's important to choose a carrier that has visibility from start to finish. And also making sure that you're generating, like when you generate your shipping confirmation email, that you include your tracking information in there so the customer can follow it from the point where it leaves the facility, all of the scans throughout the network, and then the final delivery. That should reduce your customer service costs.
Okay. And nowadays there are a lot of inventory management softwares like ours who have shipping tool as well that track shipments end to end, like till the order gets delivered, or even the return processes as well. So that Order Hive does that as well. It offers the entire offers their clients the tracking of the entire order fulfillment process.
Right.
So be it any country or be anywhere, we can track each and every product and can help the small fashion retailers reduce their tension and the frustration as well. So now on the line is now the second thing that I want to ask you, the third thing that that a lot of people talk about, because shipping and order fulfillment, as you talk that many small fashion retailers, many times they think that, because it's actually mind-numbing process and it's very tough. So they try to go, become a drop shipper or try to go to a 3PL company. So at what time do you think it is worth it to go to a 3PL company, or at what time you should not go, and if you're going to 3PL company, how you are gonna, track, or how you're gonna coordinate with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are so many variables when it comes to e-commerce that I can't give you an exact answer. But what I can say is that if order fulfillment is getting in the way of you running your business the way that you want to run it, it might be time to consider outsourcing. Or if you don't have the ability to scale, that's another really good reason to outsource. I have clients who, they've transitioned from their own warehouse over to a 3PL because it's more cost effective. So if you're using a 3PL, you have the same, so a 3PL handles all of the overhead costs, right? So as a 3PL, if you're using your own facility, for example, you have to pay for the building and the electricity and the labor, not to mention all of the complications that come along with labor. Minimum wage in the United States continues to increase, as well as healthcare costs. When you use a 3PL, those are things that you don't have to worry about. And oftentimes it's cost prohibitive for a small business to have an in-house tech team. So while a 3PL can afford to have an in-house tech team, a small business might not be able to do that on their own, which is especially important when they're shipping on multiple channels, because as you know, there are a lot of complexities that come along with multi-channel selling.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. And so moving on, DeAnna, I want to ask you that there are a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs and business owners who actually struggle to, liquidate their dead stock. And as we talked about that, change with the changing fashion trends or whatever, for whatever reason, they have a dead stock, but they struggle to liquidate them. So, DeAnna, can you, explain us how to liquidate dead stock?
So there's different levels. So the first knee-jerk reaction is usually to mark something down, but you shouldn't start there because you always want to try to preserve as much margin as you possibly can. So you can start with a promotion, for example. So, but a bundle promotion where maybe something that's really trending and really moving fast on your site. Well, you can offer the ones that are not as a kind of bundle deal to get rid of that inventory. And then you can discount, don't jump into 40% discount off of everything. You can kind of see the different, look at the merchandise.
Hello?
Sorry, I think I muted myself by accident.
Okay, yeah.
So look at your merchandise and look at the margins that the products are at right now. Because some maybe you have at a higher margin and some are a little tighter. And then really evaluate how much money will I lose if I take these prices down to this price. So you have to just kind of play around with your numbers to see what makes sense and see how much discount you can actually afford to take, and then release that as a promotion to your customers. And then from there, the things that just really are not moving, then mark those down again at a level that you think will make sense for your business. And then if that's not working, then you can look into people like jobbers who will just pick, piecemeally and just take whatever you want, whatever they want from what you have, or even liquidation companies. You can look into the buying dead stock from you. But using an inventory management system is critical because you can catch things like this before they keep happening. And if you have orders that are about to get cut at the factory, you can stop those for products that are not selling so that you won't have as many markdowns in the future.
Okay, that's great actually. So one question that we have here is how good is a strategy to create a subsidiary brand or on which you offer heavy discounts? Like for it is especially for the premium brands, there are e-commerce industries or e-commerce retailers who want their product to be premium, but at the same time they have dead strong lying there, and they can't offer lots and lots of discounts on their website because
Mhm.
they want to don't want to hamper their brand value or the brand image. So
Right.
how good is that strategy of creating a subsidiary brand when where you can offer a lot of discounts?
Yeah. So I don't think that's a line. It's kind of like two different strategies. So, for example, like you said, a luxury brand that would never go on sale, you would never catch their products on sale anywhere on any discount website because they don't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like two different strategies. And also, I would say you should not create a brand based on inventory that does not sell. It's kind of backwards. It's kind of like, trying to explain
I understood.
because you don't want this problem. This should not be an ongoing problem that you need to create a whole other brand to sell off this bad inventory. So no, I would say that is not a good strategy. A good strategy is to manage your inventory so that you don't have these dead stock problems.
Okay. So that's a really good thing, and even I agree with that part. That if you want your brand to be premium or the products to be premium, you have to choose it in that manner. You have to sell it in that manner that it never goes.
Yeah, they would never. They would
You don't
literally
create.
rather burn it than it be sold at a discount somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah.
And one thing I want to ask Amber is like, Amber, hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Managing multi-channel inventory and collating data is time consuming. Everybody knows that multi-channel inventory management and collating data from different channels is actually time consuming and a tedious task, and many times it also hampers or impacts on the order fulfillment process and results in false inventory counts. So how can we fight this devil, and how can we how can we collate that data, or how can we have a system or a portal where we can see data of different channels, and we can sit on a chair and just manage it seamlessly?
I mean, I think for a client who's just shipping, direct to consumer on .com, that it's not as crucial. But as you alluded to earlier, it becomes incredibly complex when you have to allocate inventory to multiple channels, and really keeping track of that requires a robust inventory management system that does it for you. I mean, the tracking inventory through spreadsheets and doing manual adjustments just is not a realistic option for anyone who's serious about growing their business. When orders, like if a customer orders something and the system says it's available, it really should be available. I mean, otherwise you risk a bad customer experience, stock out situations. It increases your customer service costs. It negatively affects your brand. As far as I'm concerned, if you're shipping on multiple channels, it's an absolute must.
Okay. Yeah, that's very much insightful. And one thing, it's very much obvious that if you've started small, but of course you started with a vision of making it big, so you have to behave like a big company from start on, from initial levels itself. And one thing I want to request the audiences or the viewers, if you have any questions, you can just put it forward in the chat, and we have very experienced panelists, and we'll ask them about your doubts to clear your doubts. Okay. And DeAnna, one thing. Hello, DeAnna.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of apprehensions in small fashion retailers, like small retailers. If we talk in general as well, that you know, some people think they don't know when to switch to an inventory management software, because sometimes they think, is this the correct time, or should I just keep on with the normal manual things, or as far as inventory management is concerned. So when and why and how a person should switch to inventory management software to increase profits, and
Mm.
is it a good thing to switch to inventory management software to increase profit?
So, they're not gonna like my answer, but I'm always gonna say strategy first. Because no matter what stage of business that you're in, because the sooner you start and have strategy behind what you're doing, the easier you're gonna make life for yourself. Yes, it might cost you a little bit more, upfront to invest in an inventory management software, but your inventory is your money. So literally, if your money is just sitting there, that's on you, right?
Okay.
So like the inventory is the most important part of your business. Like that's how you make your money. So to manage that should be one of the most important things to you. So for me, I would say if you can afford it, make room for it. You should invest in it from the beginning. Time is money, especially as a small business. And a lot of small businesses, the owners are working a full-time job in addition to managing their small business. So again, time is money. So it's up to you, but I would say, the sooner the better for sure.
Okay, exactly. Actually, time is money, but and there are and as you told, if people can afford it, they should move. And actually, there are softwares who come in and at affordable prices. So there are softwares like Order Hive. It comes like, it starts with $44, $44.99 for the starter plans. So it is actually
right. That's a great price.
Yeah, so affordable. So one thing is, I want to ask you both is that both Amber and DeAnna, I want to ask you both is you have a vast experience as far as fashion retailers and the small fashion business is concerned. So in your career span, what are the common but yet crucial mistakes that you have noticed that small fashion retailers commit, or you have committed, but you have overcame that afterwards. So if you can discuss with that those experiences of yours with the viewers, it would be helpful. So first, anybody can go first. DeAnna. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say not having a merchandising strategy is the biggest issue that I am seeing, and which is why I created my business in the first place. And reason being, so any big brand or retailer, the core of that organization is driven by merchandising. And most small business owners that I have met don't even know what merchandising is. And honestly, that's, somebody that's starting out, but even somebody I just had a client who makes $60 million a year and didn't know what merchandising was. So that's what's driving these large billion-dollar corporations. And you don't know what that is, there's a huge piece missing. And so not having a merchandising strategy is what I would say. And with that meaning, not having that core, that foundation of what drives retail in the first place, that's what's missing to me. Because then you're not thinking, you're buying products, for example, going back to what I was saying earlier about attributing, you're just buying things because they're pretty, or you're just designing things because they're pretty, but you're not thinking about it from the overall total business life cycle perspective.
Okay, and one thing that I read, on your website, that retailing is not dead. So
Yes.
so So retailers, for the retailers, right? So they have one inventory in the retail shop and the other in the warehouse, right? So like they have that. So that is also one type of a headache to to collate that as well. So how to go about, because there is a lot of human effort involved in that, and there is a lot of chances of errors, and at the same time when you cycle count those stock. So how can we make that easy, or what's the way to go about?
Yeah. So just again, having that inventory management system, because when your customer shops with you, whether they're shopping online or whether they're shopping in the store, it should be the same experience. And one of the biggest drivers of sales right now for people that have both a store and a website is buy online, pick up in store. And so with that, your inventory has to be synced and talk seamlessly, your system together, to make that happen and make that be a seamless transition. So again, order management software is going to help you with that. And that's when it saves you money, right? When you don't have to think and do the manual entry and manual communications of, okay, a customer just bought this online. Now we need to make sure that that inventory is now available in my store. You shouldn't have to have all those conversations because there's no time for that. So the order management software takes care of that for you.
Okay, yeah. So that's a very good point, that order management software is actually the one to your rescue, because it will take care of your confirmed orders and what orders you are ready to ship, creating product shipping labels, pick list, creating pick list and whatnot and everything, raising the purchase order. So it is actually very helpful to have an order management system in place.
And actually, sorry, that just made me think of something else with the stock issue, right? So if you have one unified order system and somebody orders something that you have in your store, but it's not currently in your warehouse, then you can ship to store too. So they can buy online, pick up in store, but you can also ship them orders from your store. So it's critical to have an inventory management system so that you can make those decisions and get to the money faster.
Okay. So I have one question from Sneha, and she is asking tips for small fashion retailers for the coming New Year sale season. So there's a New Year's sale season around the corner. So how to go about it? Are there any tips? Or any?
Can you get a little more specific about what you want to know around that?
Okay.
In general, I can say that's if you're looking to liquidate inventory and get rid of your old stock, you better do it then because you don't want to come into spring still having old inventory sitting in your store or in your warehouse. So that's the time to really liquidate all of your inventory, is really right after Christmas and in January. But January sales slow down, right? So you have to get on that right now.
Exactly. So right now is actually a good time to liquidate your stock. Exactly. And there's one question from Lisa Williams, and she's asking that can we also discuss more on what other things I can automate using an order management software? Like, can I? She's asking that can I automate the reordering process in the software itself? So can we? I guess we can reorder. We can automate the reordering process as well. And order management, if you want to know that how to automate using an order management system, so whenever there's an order placed by a customer, an ideal order management system will automatically confirm the order on basis of the payment. If the customer has paid it already, so it will automatically confirm, and it will always show you that it is a confirmed product, so you can get ready for the shipment process. And if it is not paid, so it will be written as to confirm, and then you can check the log payments and confirm it afterwards, and the second automation that order management gives you is that you can automatically create pick lists, automatically create invoices, automatically generate manifests, shipping labels, and you can automatically, select your shipping partner as well on basis of their prices. And so it's like you just have to put in the small inputs that how you want it to be done. So your mundane tasks of your order fulfillment is done automatically. So right from confirming the orders to shipments to tracking the shipments, everything can be automated. And the reordering process in the software, it can also be automated. So you can reorder a product, and the customer's details are also saved, so you can do that as well. Now moving on to Amber. So as DeAnna has explained her bit of experience and what are the problems that, like, merchandising is a problem that she has seen a lot of business people. So can you just explain or just give us an insight on what are the crucial mistakes that they are simple but yet crucial mistakes that small fashion retailers do? And is there anything that you want to throw some light on? And to the audiences, you can also throw questions to us, because I guess we are taking questions from now onwards. So you can shoot your questions up as well. So Amber,
I would say that my experience is very much in line with DeAnna's, in that I see a lot of startups fail, unfortunately, and I think that it's because they're over-investing in the wrong areas. It could be, not understanding merchandising and not investing there, but it could also be, just not understanding the costs in the entire supply chain and, getting surprised with, $1,000 here, a couple $1,000 there that they weren't expecting. So not understanding the supply chain, not having a good strategy, investing in software, expensive software that's unnecessary at their size, especially for startups, overpaying for poor marketing, and I would say one of the biggest ones that I really wish that my clients specifically would consider is expanding onto multiple sales channels, because there's such an opportunity when you're shipping on, your .com, Walmart, eBay, and drop shipping through retailers. Like, there's such a huge opportunity to grow your sales. But I think that fear is that they don't know what they don't know. And of course, the inventory management aspect of it. So those are the things that I see. I know that's a long answer to a short question, but that's my experience.
Okay, so I guess you both have the same things to tell. So that's actually good. And for the viewers out here, now we are opening the Q&A session. You can ask questions. Okay, you can under the chat, and our panelists over here will be answering your questions right here itself. Okay, there's one question from Stephen Paul that we have over here is that, based on he's asking, based on the question regarding the New Year to Christmas sale, he wanted to ask that how can a particular small scale fashion retailer analyze demand of a particular product? On what basis the stock be taken in, and in what quantity? So there are multiple questions that Stephen has clubbed, so we can go one by one. So first of all, we can go like, how can a particular small scale fashion retailer analyze the demand for a particular product? Like, how can we analyze the demand for a particular product? Yeah.
I can go.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's always, so the funny thing is, most people, when you talk about fashion and trends, they're like, well, I've never carried this product before. I've never bought this before. I have no clue how it's going to sell. But you always have some type of an idea. There's always something similar. And some of that is your gut. But, you have to, again, go back to attributing. What other products do you have that have similar attributes as the item that you're looking at, and how did that sell? Because then you can use that to forecast what you think this product that you're bringing in will sell, and that will tell you the quantity to bring in also. Does that make sense?
On what basis can the stock be taken in what quantity?
And that again goes back to mirroring whatever that similar item is. So if you had a sock and it sold 50 units last month, and it sells 50 units a month on a consistent basis, and this new stock that you're bringing in has similar attributes as that one, well then, depending on how strongly you feel about this new stock, you could project your sales and bring in however many months you want it to last. If it needs to be around for 3 months, then 50 times 3 is 150. That seems pretty safe. But again, it all depends on what you're using that specific stock for. Is it just to, everything has a purpose, everything has a strategy, right? So these new products you're bringing in, you can be bringing them in just to drive demand for a new sale that you have going on. So it's always start with a product that's similar, see how that sold, and use that as your model for your new products that you want to bring in.
Okay, so it's like basically comparing the products that which was sold earlier, which was last sold.
Right.
So and one more thing that he wanted to ask is how to deal with the leftovers, the leftover stock.
Yeah.
And how to deal with the leftover inventory, and how can we tackle with that? And can an inventory management software help analyze it all if kept in place? So if you have an inventory management software, can it help you to analyze all the leftover inventory, and can it help you to tackle that in this sales season?
Yes. So everything that you bring in, you should automatically assign it a disposition, is what we call it, but an end of life action. So if, for example, you're buying things specifically for Black Friday, then the end of life, the disposition is I'm buying this one time. That's a type of buy. And then I expect it to be gone by December 30th. And then if it's not, you determine if you plan to mark it down, discount it, so forth, so on. But yes, every single item you bring in, you need to know and at least project what you plan to do with it at the end, so then you're not scrambling. And then again, with the order management system, so let's say you're in October and this item is not selling to your expectations, you already know. You can project how much you'll have left at the end of that December 30th like you had planned. So maybe instead, if you were just planning to promote it, then maybe you need to change that disposition to markdown. But you should always have a plan. And yes, your inventory management system will help you navigate that.
Okay,
and I just add on that's I just want to add on something that I see my clients do is bundle it with a similar product, discounted rate. And so as she said, by mid-peak season, you should know whether or not that's selling. And if it's not, to really be aggressive about taking action immediately.
Exactly. And in that matter, so Amber, Jennifer has one question right here, and she wants to ask that on how to save money on shipping costs. So Amber, over to you.
So there are a couple of different ways. The first thing would be giving your customer options as they're checking out, to have if they reach a certain limit, like $50 or $75, to have free shipping. But when you do that, to not offer expedited shipping, to do something that's more of an economy method, like a SurePost or something like that has a little bit of a longer transit time. So your customer still feels like they're getting a win, but it's not costing you as much money. That's one option. Another option, obviously, is to split your inventory between multiple locations so that you're not shipping to extended zones. That's one thing an inventory management system can allow you to do. And so if you know like what some of your really fast selling SKUs are, you may not want to, if you have thousands of SKUs, you may not want to duplicate inventory across multiple points. But if you have really fast selling stuff that you know is going to go quickly, like maybe 100 SKUs, it makes a lot of sense to put that into multiple locations, because your transportation costs will be decreased if you're only shipping to zones 2, 3, and 4 versus zones 7, 8, and 9. And so that's going to save money on shipping.
Okay, that's exactly actually, because you need to give options, and that was Stephen says thank you, and Stephen is it was really helpful for him, so he's happy guy right now. Probably his New Year's sorted round. Okay, so one so one more thing. There's one more question that we have from David. So he's saying that, as mentioned earlier, that the time is money. So he wants to know that how long will it take, or how long does it take to fully upgrade from spreadsheet to inventory management software? Will the and he also wants to ask that, will the transition be painful for my business? So I guess as we discussed, and DeAnna, as we discussed, that time is money. So he wants to ask that like how much time it will take, or will it take to shift from spreadsheet to inventory management system, or will it be painful for him, like for small fashion retailers who want to shift?
I mean, it would depend on how many products that you have, but if it's all in a spreadsheet, I mean, I don't see why it would take that long. But even if trust me, the amount of time it will take you to upload it, in contrast to the amount of time and money you're going to save by it being in there, it's totally worth it. It's worth the pain. But I don't think there'll be that much pain. It should be a pretty easy transition. The software is really easy to use.
It's actually, because the softwares take the spreadsheet data. You can just upload the spreadsheet data in the software, can manage, and you can manage that, and it's not a very painful task, David. So it won't be. You can actually save time over here as well. And once you move to inventory management software, you're obviously gonna save so much time, so that you can focus on marketing and building your brand value. And so I hope we've answered your question. So on this note, is there anybody who wants to ask questions can ask right now, because this is the final last chance, and then we'll be taking the closing comments from our panelists. I guess everything is sorted for them, the viewers. Okay, so I guess right now, I guess everything is sorted for the viewers. I guess so. Let's give the closing comments and tell on what do you feel about automating the inventory for small fashion retailers at the end, and why is it important for the small fashion retailers? Any comments from you, DeAnna?
So anything that you can automate is going to save you time, and time is money, as I've said many times. But and even as you grow, it's going to help you scale faster. It'll help you get to the money faster. I can't explain it enough. And it's not just that we're just talking to you as a smaller fashion retailer, but I was at a big corporate headquarters yesterday, and they were saying the same exact thing. Automation is key. They have to be able to run their business smart in 2020. So, the sooner you already took the first step by being here and being on this webinar, right, to learn about how to be more strategic in your business, and that's what's going to get you to the next level. So definitely it's worth the investment.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So because you always want to be ahead of your competitor, one step ahead. So before your competitor has it, you have it. So
Right.
and be ahead of the game. And so moving forward to Amber, your comments.
Regarding automation.
Yeah, like regarding the whole topic and whole discussion of ours. So regarding automation and order fulfillment processes and inventory management. So any closing comments?
So yeah, I mean, I think that if you plan on doing your own order fulfillment, whether you're doing that or whether you're working with a 3PL, having an inventory management system is crucial, especially if you plan to grow and sell on multiple channels. And whether you're using OrderHive or something else, I would say just get serious about managing your inventory down to the unit and being very detail oriented and really understanding your supply chain from start to finish, both in time frame and as well as cost and customer demand.
Okay, so I guess we are towards the end of this 1 hour long knowledgeable session. So from my side, as I told, be ahead of the game. That's the key to be ahead. So at the last, thank you Amber, and thank you DeAnna for being with us, and thank you the viewers for taking out time. And of course this time will be worth a lot of money, as we are tripping on time is money loop. So thank you everybody. So and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the best for the New Year season.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much. Bye.